Ever wondered what it takes to get into an Ivy League school like Princeton University? The secret often lies in the essays. Today, I'm thrilled to share a special treat. A deep dive into three outstanding application essays that earned their authors a coveted Princeton scholarship. While these essays cover different topics, they all have one thing in common: a powerful voice and a masterful way of telling a story. Let's explore them together and see what makes them truly exceptional. Let's get started. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like to support me. Click the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it to not miss the latest videos from the channel. And if you find this content useful, please share it with your friends and relatives. Thank you very much. Uncomfortable truths. Prompt 1. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. People love to ask why. Why do you wear a turban? Why do you have long hair? Why are you playing a guitar with only 3 strings and watching TV at 3 a.m.? Where did you get that cat? Why won't you go back to your country, you terrorist? My answer is uncomfortable. Many truths of the world are uncomfortable. A couple of examples are that an equal number of pets are euthanized as are adopted each year, and that cats roam the streets at night because they are actually looking for owners with better food. One of those statements is a horrible truth, and the other is a thought I had in the shower. Either way, the point still stands. Uncomfortable truths are just that, uncomfortable. The answer to "Why won't you go back to your country, you terrorist?" is the most uncomfortable answer I can give, barring the current status of Aboriginal street cats. Sikhs like myself have borne the brunt of the backlash through our forced subjection to hate crimes, bullying, and job discrimination. In date, a misguided gunman took the lives of 6 Sikhs who were praying peacefully in their house of worship in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Their families, through their tears, asked the nation, like I continue to ask myself, why? The uncomfortable truth is that, as a society, we have not found a solution to the growing trend of extremism and hate crimes. We failed at the whole freedom of religion clause in the Bill of Rights. The media tells us that these crimes are carried out by individuals that are ignorant and motivated by hate. I would personally call them losers, but that would solve none of underlying system problems that have grown from anti-immigration rhetoric. When my cousin joined the U.S. Army, he was told that he'd have to cut his beard and hair. Every time I tell that part of the story, I can't help but guffaw at how ridiculous it sounds. My then 11-year-old angst came to a climactic fruition hearing those words. It was a call to action. I helped to gather signatures for a petition to Robert Gates, then Secretary of Defense, pleading with him to allow Sikhs to serve without having to cut our hair. We garnered over 15,000 signatories, receiving generous media attention. We called and convinced our local congressional offices to support this issue. I created a Facebook page to help spread awareness and helped to organize fundraisers to help fight this ban on our articles of faith. Our message is simple. Through service, we can push back against both hate and intolerance. But if the largest employer in the U.S. does not allow us to serve with our articles of faith, then we will continue to be victimized as outsiders, contrary to the founding principles of our nation. I'm proud to say my cousin deployed to Afghanistan as the first Sikh to be granted a religious waiver in nearly a generation. He saved countless lives as a doctor on the front lines of war and was awarded the Bronze Star Medal for his efforts. But there's always a but. Sikhs today still face a presumptive ban. Despite being in perfect for the Army's sake physical condition, I cannot join the U.S. Army because of my hair. So now, the uncomfortable story that was the uncomfortable answer to an uncomfortable question comes to an uncomfortable ending. And, like all great uncomfortable answers, I never really answered the main question. I don't have the answers to why people do the hateful things they do. But by wearing my turban proudly every morning, by answering questions when they come up, by being willing to talk about everything that is wrong, I become a personification of what is right. My solution to the systemic problem starts with me. Detailed comments from experts. Why this essay works. Central theme. Having a unifying idea is key to successful personal statements. Find your deepest idea or realization and focus your essay around that. Connects to accomplishments. Find a way to showcase your achievements while connecting to broader, more universal ideas. Strong conclusion and hook. Connecting your ending to your beginning is a powerful way to bring your essay full circle. A great conclusion expands on your ideas introduced earlier, while leaving some room for more to be said. Beauty in complexity. Gazing up at the starry sky, I see Cygnus, Hercules, and Pisces, remnants of past cultures. I listen to waves crash on the beach, the forces of nature at work. Isn't it odd how stars are flaming spheres and electrical impulses make beings sentient? The very existence of our world is a wonder. What are the odds that this particular planet developed all the necessary components, parts that all work in unison, to support life? How do they interact? How did they come to be? I thought back to how my previously simplistic mindset evolved this past year. The very existence of our world is a wonder. What are the odds that this particular planet developed all the necessary components, parts that all work in unison, to support life? At Balboa, juniors and seniors join one of 5 small learning communities, which are integrated into the curriculum. Near the end of sophomore year, I ranked my choices. Law Academy first, it seemed the most prestigious, and WALC, the Wilderness Arts and Literacy Collaborative, fourth. So when I was sorted into WALC, I felt disappointed at the inflexibility of my schedule and bitter toward my classes. However, since students are required to wait at least a semester before switching pathways, I stayed in WALC. My experiences that semester began shifting my ambition-oriented paradigm to an interest-oriented one. I didn't switch out. Beyond its integrated classes, WALC takes its students on trips to natural areas, not only to build community among its students, but also to explore complex natural processes and humanity's role in them. Piecing these lessons together, I create an image of our universe. I can visualize the carving of glacial valleys, the creation and gradation of mountains by uplift and weathering, and the transportation of nutrients to and from ecosystems by rivers and salmon. I see these forces on the surface of a tiny planet rotating on its axis and orbiting the sun, a gem in this vast universe. Through WALC, I have gained an intimate understanding of natural systems and an addiction to understanding the deep interconnections embedded in our cosmos. Understanding a system's complex mechanics not only satisfies my curiosity, but also adds beauty to my world. My understanding of tectonic and gradational forces allows me to appreciate mountains and coastlines beyond aesthetics. By physically going to the place described in WALC's lessons, I have not only gained the tools to admire these systems, but have also learned to actually appreciate them. This creates a thirst to see more beauty in a world that's filled with poverty and violence, and hunger for knowledge to satisfy that thirst. There are so many different systems to examine and dissect. Science alone has universal planetary, molecular, atomic, and subatomic scales to investigate. I hope to be able to find my interests by taking a variety of courses in college and further humanities understanding through research, so that all can derive a deeper appreciation for the complex systems that govern this universe. Detailed comments from experts. Tony's essay opens with stargazing at the ocean's edge, where we experience his boundless curiosity towards the natural world, sentience, and life itself. This wide-eyed wonderment is rendered artfully, yet what actually enables this essay to succeed is its ability to ponder deep concepts without getting lost in the clouds. The story itself revolves around an event that seems far removed from the incomprehensibility of the universe. A randomized selection has assigned Tony to study wilderness arts when he preferred the path of law. He is bitter that a decision impacting his studies has been determined by chance. We see vulnerability in his admission that he was beholden to an ambition-oriented paradigm, rather than studying what interested him most. However, what we discover through the rest of the essay is that Tony's decision to remain in wilderness arts is one that has transformed him completely, changing his perspective from a simplistic mindset to one that is addicted to understanding the deep interconnections embedded in our cosmos. The strength of Tony's language helps us appreciate the breadth and excitement of his unforeseen awakening. The strength of Tony's language helps us appreciate the breadth and excitement of his unforeseen awakening. From visualizing the carving of glacial valleys to reveling in the complex mechanics of natural systems, the essay showcases how much more Tony appreciates our world thanks to an event that had once seemed unfairly arbitrary. Observing Tony's thirst for life's interconnectedness, we grow confident that his evolving perspective will guide his studies into exciting, unexpected realms. Meeting distant relatives. Prompt 5. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others. As I sat alone in a crowded airport, I felt both excitement and nervousness. I took my laptop and opened it to the Facebook profile of my third cousin Joey. I remembered how curious I was the first time I learned about his existence. He seemed just like me. I could not have been more excited, for I was on my way to New Jersey to spend spring break at his parents' house. It may seem strange that I was so eager to meet a third cousin, as most Americans have minimal contact with relatives as distant as third cousins. Meeting distant relatives meant expanding the family tree, forming new connections, and expanding support networks. Setting down new routes by traveling to New Jersey to meet Joey not only felt right but also necessary. After landing and meeting Joey and his mom, Alla, I felt awkward. We had absolutely nothing to discuss. Maybe visiting people I have never met was a mistake. That night, Alla explained to me that partner dominoes was a family tradition dating back 50 years in the Soviet Union. I had never played dominoes with a partner. Absolutely stunned, Ala cried. You have never played partner dominoes? How the hell is your mother raising you? The rest of the night we played partner dominoes, and let me admit, I was awful. Nevertheless, I experienced a strong sense of belonging and connection to my heritage by taking part in an old family tradition. That game broke the ice and made me realize that we share a cultural and personal connection. Starting with that game, I actually felt like we were family members. Unsure of what else my mom had neglected, Allah inundated me with an entire rundown of my extended family. I learned that I could travel to almost every continent, knowing there would always be someone to whom I am related. Due to my family's Russian heritage, I would always be welcome, adept at partner dominoes or not. A week later, when I sat waiting for my flight home, I smiled. People whom I had just met, who had their own busy lives to live, took me in and made me feel welcome. At the end of the visit, I felt as if I had known Joey and Allah my entire life. I had to acknowledge that I had underestimated the need for extended family in my life. Furthermore, as I contemplated the transition from stranger to family member, my mind took me further to comprehend that, whether related or not, I would live a more fulfilling life if willing to make vital connections. I consider every person with whom I forge a connection part of my family network, regardless of how remote. Though I had thought of family as merely a support system, I realize now that it is comprised of the people who, through powerful shared experiences, help one find a place in the world. When I launch into the next phase of my life, I am hoping to forge relationships with roommates, classmates, and professors. As a global citizen, I am also dedicated to connect with others and help them find a place in this world, just like Allah and Joey did for me. Detailed comments from experts. Why this essay works. Shows. Personality. It's important to create a voice in your personal statement, so that admissions officers can imagine your character and personality. Try to write as you would speak, but refined and polished. In this essay, natural-sounding phrases like, "Let me admit I was awful," humanizes the author and makes the reader feel like they're being spoken to. Compelling narrative. This essay is a perfect example of how effective essays don't need to have a super unusual story to be compelling. What makes this essay's story compelling is not necessarily the topic itself, meeting distant relatives, but instead how the student reflects and makes interesting connections to broader ideas. Even seemingly mundane experiences can make for meaningful personal statements topics. What they might change. Stronger conclusion. This conclusion works well by connecting to the main story of the essay. However, certain phrases like, "as a global citizen," and "I am hoping to forge relationships," are potentially too generic. Instead, try taking your main idea, in this case forming connections with others, and broaden it or connect to more universal ideas. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like to support me. Click the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it to not miss the latest videos from the channel. And if you find this content useful, please share it with your friends and relatives. Thank you very much.